So in the run-up to the release of the new Tom Petty vinyl box set, where we're going to see some quite rare albums put up for a reasonable price on vinyl, I thought I'd finally kickstart my actual Tom Petty album reviews. That's right, not just Mudcrutch, because we've already done them. We're going to do proper Tom Petty albums now.
I got a dream, I'm gonna fight till I get it.
So hello and yes, welcome back to another album review, guys. Now then, as I say, today we're finally going to be starting off the Tom Petty album reviews. Now then, before we get started, I just want to say my reasons for doing this album, because this wasn't the first Tom Petty album I actually wanted to review, I can't lie. For me, I really like Tom Petty's later career. I know a lot of people are more into his early stuff, and his early stuff is fantastic, but I find his later stuff from the 90s and 2000s a lot more interesting myself. And I really wanted to do albums that haven't been talked about as much, like Mojo, The Last DJ, Echo. I'd like to have the vinyl copy here to hold up and show off as I talk about them. And of course, at the minute, from those rare albums, I only have Hypnotic Eye and Mojo. So I thought, it'd be good to start off my Tom Petty album reviews in the run-up to this new vinyl box set. So I thought, yeah, okay, let's do one of the two, Hypnotic Eye or Mojo. And I thought, if I do Hypnotic Eye first, that way I can then do Mojo and work my way back. So that is my plan with Tom Petty. I might not follow through with it, because I didn't with Eric Clapton. I said I was going to start with his first album, which I did, and I was going to go in order, which I didn't. But the plan at the minute with Tom Petty is, I'm going to do Hypnotic Eye now, hopefully Mojo sometime over the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to work our way backwards. And there will be an unboxing of the new Tom Petty vinyl box set come Friday, I think it's Friday, 9th of December. Also, just want to give a quick shout out to another couple videos which I have coming. The second part of my top 50 albums is coming, and my contest video is also coming. So there's a few videos coming up. Also, as I say, the next album review, I like to mix it up, do a lot of different artists in my album reviews now. But I probably will try and get Mojo done pretty quick, I can't lie. But anyway, for now, we are going to be talking about Hypnotic Eye. So here it is, Tom Petty's most recent album, if you're not going to count Mudcrutch 2. So yeah, as I say, there's a lot to go over. So let's get started. So basically we're going to give you a bit of information on the album. We're going to go over each track individually and mark them all out of 10. I'm going to show you my copy of the vinyl record if I don't drop it. And then we're going to mark the artwork out of 10. We're going to take all the scores that I've given, add them up, divide them by the total number of scores given. That'll give us an overall marking for this album out of 10. And when we've done that, we're going to head over to my album ranking board, put it on the album ranking board, and see where it ranks compared to other albums we've reviewed here on this channel. So yeah, that's a mouthful, I tell you. I have to say that at the start of every bloody album review. Anyway, Tom Petty, Hypnotic Eye. This is actually under Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This is not a solo album, of course, this one. So if you're going to go by Heartbreakers albums, this is their 13th studio album. However, if you do want to include the Tom Petty solo stuff, such as Full Moon Fever, Wildflowers, and Highway Companion, and of course the two Mudcrutch albums, which I've reviewed, link in the description for them if you're interested. This is his 17th album, so he's been very busy, 17 albums, that's a lot. And of course got 18 now, because we got Mudcrutch 2, which come out shortly after this. This album hit number 7 in the UK charts, which isn't too bad for Tom Petty. He's not really the most well-received person over here. People generally like him, but he's just never hit it massive here. Whereas in America, of course, it hit number 1, and it actually also hit number 1 in Canada. And I think this is the first album of Tom Petty's to actually hit number 1 in the US as well. Very well received. It also got nominated for Album of the Year, which is fantastic. Didn't win it, but that doesn't matter. Just to get nominated, that is, there's hundreds and hundreds of albums that come out every year. So to just be in the category that gets nominated is incredible, really. So that is fantastic. This album was actually started recording in 2011, and this album finally came out on July 29th, 2014. So it took 3 years to record this album. Tom really wanted this to be perfect. Mojo had this more raw feel to it, a bit more of a live appearance to it, so it was recorded a lot quicker. Mojo, So this one, I think Tom really wanted to go back, and it really feels like one of those old Tom Petty albums from, the early 70s. It kind of reminds me a bit of You're Gonna Get It, and the self-titled debut album, and a bit of Damn the Torpedoes as well, because it has that rawness to it, has this great diversity to it as well. And when I say diversity, it has rock feel to it, it has quite heavy rock feel to it at times. This album also has blues and jazz influence to it. It's fantastic how all of these things are implicated into this album. And yeah, it really does just have this fantastic feel to it. And I can see why this album done so well, really. So anyway, let's get started. There's 11 tracks on here, but of course, we've got to give it 12 scores, because we've got the 11 tracks, and then we're going to also mark the album artwork. So this album opens up with one of the tracks which is highlighted on the hype sticker here, American Dream Plan B, and the second one is You Get Me High, but we'll get to that one. So American Dream Plan B was the single, it's on the hype sticker, it's meant to be the big wow song. It's a very good song, but in my opinion, definitely not the best one on here, as we'll get to. But anyway, it opens with this very heavy raw guitar riff to it, and these very strange muffled vocals from Tom, almost like, you got the microphone in one corner of the room and he's standing in the other corner of the room and he's singing it from there and it's just picking him up almost. So it has a very strange vibe to it. But then they hit the chorus and, you've got the clear normal vocals and it gives the chorus so much more of an edge. It makes the vocals sound so much more interesting. The same thing goes for the instruments because, during the first couple verses, it's just this heavy guitar. That's all you're getting. And you're like, okay, this ain't bad, but we're not going to do this for the whole song, are we? We hit the chorus, the acoustic comes in, the drums kick in a bit more. We've even got some synthesizers going on. It sounds fantastic. It actually gives the chorus so much more characteristics. It actually gives it so much more of a better feel. And the vocals are fantastic. The instrumentation on this song is incredible, how all the instruments come together and the band just plays so well together during the chorus. And, you don't realise that it's actually building up to the chorus from the get-go. And that's why it's such a unique song. We also have a really cool guitar solo thrown in there, which is fantastic. I'm going to have to give this song an 8 out of 10. It is a very, very good song. Would it be my best choice for a single for the album, though? No. There's a couple better ones on here. And one of those, I think, is the next track, Fault Lines. And, I love the start of this song, really. It has great bass work in it. Fantastic bass work. This one and Red River, the following track, have some of the best bass work I've ever heard, really. It's incredible. It's just so catchy. It stands out. It kind of has its own feel to it. It's very captivating, and it's hard for a bass to do that, because normally it is meant to be just the background. It's the bass. It's what all the other instruments are kind of layered on top of. So for it to have its own kind of, standout sound is very good, very unique. So anyway, some of Tom's best vocals are on this song, I believe. And it works on this track so well. The chorus is very catchy again with this amazing guitar solo again thrown on top of it. It's just got this unique feel to it. The chorus, when they actually are singing about Tom's fault lines, it's so fun. It's very good. Very catchy, and really, it is incredible. This song is going to get, for me, a 10 out of 10. It's a great song. It is a fantastic song, in fact. So yeah, I've got no faults with it. And I'm just going to blow this one straight out the water. The exact same thing goes for Red River. 10 out of 10. This song here also opens up with... It opens very quickly, actually. You come off Fault Lines and then, boom, we're straight into Red River. And again, the bass work is great. Tom's vocals are incredible. The chorus is so catchy and fun, Meet me tonight at the Red River, where the water is cool and clear. I just love the lyrics to this song. It's fantastic. Also love the slow jazz section for it. The song kind of pauses for a bit, and we get this fantastic guitar work. And it really sounds like something a bit jazzy. You got a bit of an echo effect in there as well to make it sound a bit more jazz-like. And generally, it just sounds incredible. And it gives the song a bit more of an edge, a bit more characteristics, and it sounds great. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for Red River as well. Love that song. And then we move on to a track called Full Grown Boy, which definitely has a bit of a bluesy feel to it, I think. Definitely. And you know me, guilty as charged to love the blues. So this is a very good track for me. A much slower track where they aren't really, they aren't relying on the heavy guitars, which they have been for the first three tracks. There's a big presence of a much more raw, heavy guitar feel to them. Not massively heavy, because we're still talking about Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. We're not talking about Five Finger Death Punch or anything. But, for Tom Petty standards, they're relying on a bit of a heavy guitar here. So this one here, it's gone. We're on a bit of an acoustic, bluesy type track, which generally feels great. It feels great. The chorus, again, to it is great, where he's singing about, I'm a full-grown boy. It is generally just such a fun song. Is it as perfect as Fault Lines and Red River? I don't quite think so. It's not quite as memorable as them two, but I really do love this song. So again, it is going to have to be a very high mark for this track, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Now we move on to a track called All You Can Carry. This, for me, is still a very good song. I don't think there's any bad songs on this album. I don't. This album holds together so well. Its consistency is incredible. However, this is definitely one of those moments which is a tad weaker, but I still really enjoy it. It's a more heavy track again. It pulls us back from this blues feel which we've got on the previous track, Full Grown Boy. Not the most exciting verses, really. The thing for me is the verses for this song and whatnot, they're not as interesting. This album holds up so well because everything about it is so well produced, so well pieced together, and it's always interesting. But this part is just a bit like, you can kind of turn off for this part, I guess. But then we do hit the chorus, and again, the chorus is fun, it's captivating, it's incredible. And it is a lot of fun, that's for sure, and it definitely, brings the song back. It makes the song here, the chorus. And it's got great guitar work on it again. So yeah, I do really like this song still. It's a very good song. But for this album, it's a tad weaker. If you'd put this song on maybe Echo or Highway Companion, it probably would have been the standout. But for this album, it's one of the weaker ones, I think. But it's still a very good song. It's just unfortunate that it's on almost a masterpiece of an album, really. So I am going to give this song a 7 out of 10. But as I say, anything below a 5 is bad, anything above a 5 is good. So a 7, that's pretty good still. And then we get the last track on side 1 of the record, for those of you who bought the record. And that is Power Drunk. Again, another one of my favourites here. I love this song to bits. Has a great feel to it again. The guitar work is just incredible. And I have to stress that. It is just incredible. The build up to the chorus is fantastic. And the chorus doesn't disappoint. The chorus is so fun, so catchy, so, when you're listening to it, you just get so into it. You end up tapping along, when you know the words, you end up just humming or singing along, it's such a fun song, and it really doesn't deserve anything less than a perfect score, so it's going to have to be a 10 out of 10 for Power Drunk as well. Okay, so moving on to the second side, it opens up with a track called Forgotten Man, and this is another song with a great feel to it. Again, a bit more of a fast rhythm track, it's a bit more of a poppy track here, I guess, but it sounds incredible. I love how the electric and the acoustic guitar kind of bounce off each other in this song. It sounds incredible. Tom vocals are brilliant here again, plus there's another great guitar solo. The only fault that I have with this song is that, lyrically there's just not as much going on here. But who cares about lyrics, really, when you're having this much fun? So I'm going to give this track a 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect, but it could have been a little bit more done with the lyric side of things, I think, here. But overall, it is a very, very good, very entertaining song. And then we get a track called Sins of My Youth, which was quite a popular track, actually, off the album. A much slower track with a more unique feel to it. This has the most unique feel to it of all the tracks on this album, that is for sure. It's a very jazzy influenced song here, I think. It's a good song, but I don't know. For me, it just feels a bit out of place on this album. We've got some influenced stuff, like Red River had a bit of a jazzy moment. Full Grown Boy is pretty bluesy. But, Red River doesn't keep that jazzy feel forever. The bluesy feel isn't so far bluesy where it's sounding like B.B. King or J.J. Cale. It's still got the Tom Petty vibe to it. This song here just, I don't know, it just doesn't sound like it belongs on this album. But, in a way it's good though, because it shows Tom Petty's changing it up. We're not getting the whole same feel throughout the whole album, which is one of the problems which I had with an album like Echo, for example. Had a very similar feel throughout it all. But anyway, it's a very good song though overall. You take the song as it is. It's very good, very entertaining. I think the lyrics have quite nice meaning. Tom's vocals are just great on this. I'm going to give this track an 8 out of 10. It's still a very good song. And then we get the other track from the sticker, You Get Me High. And look, Tom Petty can't spell. He spelt it you. I'm only kidding. But yeah, anyway, this is much more rocking track. This one is a lot more rocking. With a great chorus again to it, with fantastic vocals from Tom again. And just another great guitar solo piled in at the end. This is a good choice for a single, I think. Probably a bit better than American Dream Plan B, because this one just feels like a Tom Petty song. It does. And I love it. The chorus, when he actually sings the line, You Get Me High, with the backing vocals, sounds fantastic. They blend really well. 9 out of 10 track. Love it. Then we get Burnt Out Town, which I'm just going to say from the get-go, I love the lyrics in here. It's like he's telling the story of this town he lives in. Vocals are very, very strange, but very unique and very good at the same time from Tom. He does this kind of, I don't know how to describe the accent, I guess you could say, that he's doing in this one. Bit of a croaky-like voice, where he's singing it. And then when he goes into the chorus, he uses his normal singing voice, which sounds just fantastic. It does. And it's got a great feel to it, again, this song. And I love it. I do. It's a fantastic song. I just love the story behind it. When he sings the line, this is a burnt out town, it's great. This song has to get a 9 as well. I love it. Then we get the final track on the album, Shadow People. Now this is quite a long track, but this one has so many different styles to it, so many different feels to it, so many different moments. It's really captivating. Has a slow piano start to it, then the guitars kick in, and you think, okay, this is going to sound different than what I thought it would in the first couple seconds, I love the pulls in it, where the jazz side of Tom completely takes over, and you basically just get this, the guitar work really shines through, and it turns into a fantastic guitar solo. And then the end of the song also sounds quite different. But I love this song for its uniqueness, its diversity, all the stages it goes through. So this song is going to get, for me, a 10 out of 10. I love it. So anyway, that is all the 11 tracks there. Now let's take a look at the vinyl record. So here it is, Hypnotic Eye. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the artwork on here. I was going to give it a negative, so I was going to give it like a 4 or under out of 10. But I went with a 5 out of 10. I'm going to say it's average, and I'll explain why. Because the cover itself, it's not very good. It suits the album a bit, I guess. I've got used to it. Never seen an artist really put the tracks on the front of the cover, because the back, no track listing. They're all on the front. You've got to read the front. So the back cover is a little bit pointless and a bit strange. Love the spine. The spine is incredible. It stands out real good on the shelf. Mine's still in shrink, so I can't show you the gatefold. But I got the CD where the gatefold is exactly the same. And that's it. So yeah. Kind of a waste of space in the gatefold there. No picture of the band at all on this, which is a little bit disappointing. You get a download code, which is nice, but of course I've bought the CD now, and the download code's way out of action anyway. And then here is the record, of course, on the Reprise label, and very nice pressing, sounds incredible. And the reason why I gave it an average, because I was going to give it 4 out of 10, but I gave the artwork a 5, because they actually chucked in an inner, which they don't like to do with new vinyl very much, new albums. So you get all the lyrics and whatnot, and a little bit of information. So yeah, I thought I'll be a bit kind, because I want this album to get a good score, because I generally do love it. So I thought, I'll give it an average score, so it gets a 5. So I've added up all of those scores, including the album artwork, and divided them by 12, and Hypnotic Eye out of 10 is going to get an 8.6. So now what we got to do is we've got to head over to the album ranking board, put it on there and see where it ranks compared to other albums I've reviewed on this channel. So yes, here we are back over to the album ranking board, of course. We don't see it quite as much nowadays on the channel. But anyway, it's filling up nice and good. And here is the slip for Hypnotic Eye, an 8.6 there. And it's quite funny, actually. Didn't plan this. I'm actually just realising it for the first time. It's beat out by a singular point. And when I say point, I mean a 0.1. Not a 1.0, a 0.1. another Tom Petty album, well, kind of, Mudcrutch's debut album, Mudcrutch. So it's going to go right next to that, just above it, on an 8.6 there. So yeah, so there it is, on an 8.6. Now, I've had a few people commenting, you know, for example, with my top 50 albums, you'd expect all of these to be in my top 50 albums. I wouldn't necessarily say, for example, you know, I'm just going to use this as an example here, that Tom Petty Hypnotic Eye is better than David Bowie's Hunky Dory. That's just how I see it song-wise, because really I do find Hypnotic Eye a better constructed album, a better written album, a better produced album. But really, I mean, I would rather go and listen to Hunky Dory. So, you know, for people who look at this list, for example, and say, you know, how can you say that's better than that? You know, I've had a few people saying that about, just trying to find one as an example here, my very good friend, vinyl collector James, you know, on Peter Gabriel So. You know, it's really just taken on the chin a bit. You know, obviously, I'm just using as an example here, Mudcrutch 2 is not better than Peter Gabriel So. It's just, I feel that as an album in its whole, it's a lot better produced and whatnot. So yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd clear that up a bit here because some people have been asking me, you know, about this board a bit. But anyway, so yeah, Hypnotic Eye is going to go in on an 8.6. Just quickly going to compare it to a couple, you know, other Tom Petty's. We've only got the Mudcrutches on there at the minute, 8.5, and a 7.5. So Hypnotic Eye has completely beaten them. Well, not completely there, but completely beaten that one out. And yeah, it's not done too bad on the board there. The only ones which have beaten it, looking at it critically, you know, on this board. Not saying they are better albums, you know, I'm just saying this is kind of how I look at them. Eric Clapton's Back Home, Paul McCartney's Ram, Jeff Lynne, Armchair Theatre, all on 8.8. All Things Must Pass on a 9.3, and Derek and the Dominoes on a 9.4. So yeah, Hypnotic Eye, pretty good score. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. And that is it. That is the kickstart of my Tom Petty album reviews. So yeah, I'm quite excited to finally be starting them. The next one up should be Mojo pretty soon, I'm hoping. I'm quite eager to review this album, actually, because it's a love or hate kind of thing. And I will say I do really enjoy that album. So I'm really excited to talk about Mudcrutch with you guys. Of course, I'm also super excited to get the box set next Friday. I'm not getting the first box set, I'm getting the second one, where you get everything from Wildflowers through to Hypnotic Eye. So I'll do my best to get an unboxing up as soon as it arrives, because I'm so excited to get it. And I'm sure you guys are so excited to see it. Hopefully Amazon doesn't mess it up, because they've messed a few of my recent parcels up, which I haven't been too happy about. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll all work out okay, and I'll have a nice unboxing video for you the day it comes out next Friday. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that is it for this video on Tom Petty's Hypnotic Eye. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please hit the subscribe button, like the video and leave a message. And I'll see you guys next time for another video.
Shadow people in shadow